Kiddos, if you only knew, this is my third attempt at creating this video tonight. Hot mess of a tech issue tonight, but it's okay. So, take a look at your joke of the day. What do you get when you cross a rabbit with shellfish? Shellfish is like seafood. An oyster bunny. No homework tonight or over the weekend. Here's what I would like you to work on right now, though, is please turn to page 75. I'm going to have you guys making sure, remember, yesterday we were going back and forth between page 8 and whatever page we were working on. So that's what I need you to do. So open to page 75. Try exercise 3. Use page 8 as a reference. Pause the video and come back. Here are your answers. Oh, good. Okay, so we're going to, hold please. All right, guys, so here is page 75 answers. So it says how many pounds are in 96 ounces? So some of you, not most, but some of you know I take this and divide it by 16 ounces off the top of your head. I couldn't do it. So what I would do is I know I'm talking about pounds and ounces. With ratios, that's what I'm comparing. So I would write pounds and ounces. Then I would pause for a second in order to get this ratio. Obviously, it's not in here. You have to go to page 8. So when I go to page 8 to get the pounds to ounces ratio, it's going to look something like this. So pounds to ounces is right here. 1 pound, 16 ounces. I go back, I write it here, and now I can fill in my 96 ounces where it needs to go. Ounces for me is on the bottom. So I have to cross multiply because I have no idea what number times 16 is 96, I decide. So once I cross multiply, it's going to look like this. It's going to look like 16x equals 96. So then you know you divide both sides by 16, and I'm sorry that my writing's crazy. So 96 in your calculator divided by 16 will give you 6 pounds. So that's how we're using page 8 for this middle ratio, okay? The second thing I'd like you to do is to turn to page 76. Please read example 3. Page 76, read example 3, and I want you to think about, why do you think it's asking for full gallons in the question? So page 76, try example 3. Pause the video and come back. Okay, so if we look here on page 76, sweet Lord, I cannot wait for a touchscreen. Chromebook again. It says, page 76, example 3, Julia needs 80.7 quarts of orange juice for a punch recipe. How many full gallons will this make? What this is telling me is I'm probably going to have a remainder or a leftover or something. That's why it's asking how many full gallons. Remember the bus conversation we talk about with Perk, and how when we go to Perk, we take a bus somewhere usually, right? There are only a certain amount of kids that are fit on the bus. If I have leftover kids, I have to have another bus for the overflow. We don't just leave the kids on the curb, right? So that's why how sometimes if you have a remainder or leftover, we say, okay, add another bus or add another whatever. Here you wouldn't do that. So I'd like you guys to go ahead and solve page 76. Again, to get this ratio, you need page 8. So pause the video and solve for this question on page 76. Here is your answer. I will be quiet. Okay, so cross multiplying. I go 4 times x is 4x, and 80.7 times 1 is 80.7. So my setup for cross multiplying would look like this, right? Does that look familiar? Divide each side by 4. So I would type in 80.7 divided by 4, and you get this crazy number. You're not wrong. But how many full gallons does it give us? Just 20. And that's the remaining. Okay? So you don't necessarily have to bump up everything like the bus example. Here it would just say, well, what's the total? What's the whole here? How many gallons of that overflow? And it'd be 20. Okay? All right. So what we're doing today is more the same as yesterday. I want to make sure we're using page 8 for the conversion reference sheet in order to solve real world problems. But what I want you to do right now is I'd like you to go to page, bear with me, 77. So please go to page 77, and you're going to pause the video in a minute. You are working on page 77, which is right here, exercise 4. I want you to take however long it takes you, pause my video. You are solving exercises 4 through 8. So what is it? Page 77 through, I don't know, let's see, 80? Okay. So 77 through 80, and then I'll show you the answers. So one more time. You are working on pages 77 through 80, using page 8 to fill in this. So right now this is called practicing in what we did yesterday. Pause the video and then come back. All right, here is your answer for exercise 4. I'll be quiet. If you didn't get that answer, please check to make sure your numbers for inches are 12 and then X, and feet are 1 and 6 across from each other. Your original ratio, feet to inches or inches to feet, I don't care which one, but your numbers have to go in the right spot. Put a check mark or something if you need to talk to me about this one on Monday if you did not get the right answer. I'm moving on to page 78. Join me. I'll be quiet. Okay, so again, I'm talking about liters and milliliters. So I would go to page 8, which looks like this. Liters to milliliters, right here. So I do 1 liter, 1,000 milliliters. 1 liter, 1,000 milliliters. And then fill in where 100 goes. 100 liters, same spot as liters. So I cross multiply, or I'm sure you guys could do side to side here, and you end up with 100,000 milliliters. So again, this center ratio comes from page 8. Let's go to the next page, 79. Here are your answers for page 79. I'll be quiet. Okay, so you could have, when you set this up, pints to quarts, again, I go to page 8 for this. I look up pints to quarts, and then I can plug in my 14 on pints. If you didn't get the right answer, you probably put your numbers in the wrong spot. You could easily do a side-to-side relationship here. 2 times what is 14? 7. So 1 times 7 is 7, or you guys can cross multiply. You'll get the same answer. Last one. No, last 2, sorry. Exercise 7, I'll be quiet. So when I'm cross multiplying, again, 1x is the same thing as x. And then 16 times 8.5 is 136. I mean, I guess you could divide by 1 here, but it's going to give you the same answer. This comes from page 8. Then I can put this in. Last but not least, page 80. I'll be quiet. Okay, so I cross multiply. I divide both sides by 2,000. I end up with a decimal of 7.2. Okay? It's the same skill we've been doing for about a month. We're just now taking this ratio right here and we're getting it from page 8. Are you guys okay? I'm hoping you're saying for the most part yes. Okay, you should be using your calculators. All right, so I'm going to have us go to page 80. We're in lesson 11 right now. I'm taking a break from the page 8 for today. I want you to go to page 83. Page 83. Come along with me. 83. Looks like this. So this is a multi-step problem. Again, we're taking a break from page 8. It says, I'm on page 83. Read the two-step word problem below, meaning it takes 2 operations to solve it. In a marble race at school, there are 14 blue marbles and 22 green marbles. Lily's brother removed 9 marbles. How many marbles are left? So I'm taking a break from equivalent ratios, okay? So here's what I want us to look at. So I have 14 blue and 22 green. Okay. Lily's brother then removes them. What does remove mean? What operation does remove mean? Take away. Subtraction, right? How many marbles are left? Well, don't we have to know how many marbles we started with? Yeah, so here's my question. How many marbles are left? So this tells me I have to figure out step 1, how many marbles I started with. Okay, so here I go. I'm going to scroll down. That didn't help at all. So my step 1, so write this with me, step 1, 14 plus 22. You can stack it if you want. That's going to give us 36, I think, marbles. Step 2, if I'm trying to find out how he removed a certain amount, how am I going to minus 9? What am I subtracting 9 from? He removes 9, right? Oops, what did I do wrong? Okay, I'm going to start with 36 minus 9, right? Because I got to just don't look at this. Sorry. Oh my gosh. Lord, give me strength. Okay. Step 1, 14 plus 22 equals 36, right? Okay. Step 2, taking the total number of marbles, and I'm subtracting 9 because he removed them. So that tells me, how many marbles do I have? 27? Is that right? Are left? Is that right? Yeah. 27 are left. So this was a perfect example of a two-step problem, right? And again, we're taking a break from ratios right now. Just getting in some multi-step problems in here, okay? Let's go to page, what I want, 86. Almost done, guys. Page 86. 86. 86. So Sebastian swims laps every day in the community pool. He swam 45 minutes each day, 5 days a week, for 12 weeks. In that time, he swam 1,800 laps. What was his average rate in laps per hour? Holy Lord. Bleh. What am I comparing? What am I comparing? Minutes and hours or laps? Laps per hour? Is that what I'm comparing? Is that what I want? Let's see. Let's see what I wrote. Come on. Is that what I want? Yeah, laps per hour, so time and laps. Beautiful. Okay, so we're going to write on the line here time and laps. Okay, laps and time, whatever. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here, and I feel like I need to figure out how many minutes total he is swimming in 5 days. So that's going to be my first step. So let's do that. So you're going to do step 1. Step 1, 45 times 5 days a week. So 45 minutes, I'm going to take my calculator out. 45 minutes times 5 days a week is 225 minutes. Good? Step 2, guys, go back in the word problem. How many weeks does he do this for? 12 weeks. So I'm going to do 225 minutes over 5 days times 12 weeks. And I'm assuming that we're just doing every 5 days or whatever. So 12 weeks. So I'm going to do 225 times 12. That is 2,700 minutes. Right? Are you with me so far? Now it says how many laps did he do per hour? Okay, so let's see. So my next step is going to be, well, that's terrible looking. My next step is going to be, here it is, step 3. I'm going to take 2,700 minutes and I'm going to divide it. How many minutes are in an hour? 60, correct? So I'm going to do this divided by 60 minutes. This is going to tell me how many hours I have. So ready? 2,700 divided by 60. That equals 45 hours. So it's basically how many 60 minutes I can pull out of the 2,700. So 45 hours. So now I can actually do, this one's crazy. I can actually do, I know this one's nuts. I can do laps. I'm going to hand draw this. So I'm going to do laps. No, I'm not. Laps to hours. And now I'm setting up an equivalent ratio here. What did it say? 1,800 per hour? Let's see. Okay. So 1,800 laps it wants. Why is this being annoying? So 1,800 laps in 45 hours. We want to get it down to 1 hour. Isn't this crazy? 4 steps. Go ahead and solve this on your calculator. Isn't that crazy? So you're dividing by 45. What's 1,800 divided by 45? What should you get on your calculator? 1,800 divided by 45. Isn't it 60? No, 30. I'm crazy. 1,800 divided by 45. No. 40 laps per hour is the answer for this. That's nuts. 40 laps per hour. That is your answer right there, guys. That's a lot. That's why we don't do this often, because I don't want to burn you out. So your answer for this one is 40 laps per hour. Isn't that nuts? Look at all that gorgeous math work. Okay, so we had a lot of practice, right? So with your remaining time, if there is any ode work that you owe for math or any other subject, you guys are doing it, you can try page 87 if you want. It's not as crazy as the last one we just did, so it's optional. Page 87 you can try before we leave for the day. But if you have any ode work or anything for any other subject, you're more than welcome to do it, but that's all we're doing today in class. So I will see you guys on Monday. Have a good weekend.